women's drug of choice because it's so convenient for them to get it and to make it. Once they have the ingredients, they may buy one thing this week and then wait a few days and go buy the phosphorus or the matches to get the phosphorus next week, and then at the end of the month put all the ingredients together. They will not do it on their property or where they live. They will go to a campsite or something and cook it up there, or be going down the road and cook it up. People drive down the road and are cooking it up in the car as they go. They put the ingredients in a bottle and they shake it, and it creates a heat, and they have to let off the pressure. And if they don't let off the pressure, it explodes and causes a fire, a flash fire. But they will do that driving down the road. It's very common to go to a campsite and find the remains of a lab. But it is a poor man's drug of choice.
My little box here, $9 for a box of pills, $3.99, say $4 for your ether, which you usually have to have 4 cans of ether. Or you can go buy a gallon of coma fuel. You know, what, 99 cents for a bottle of water, $10 for some batteries, $4, $5 for some life, which you're going to use over and over because you're not going to use all this in it. And then, you know, $5, $6, $7 for some acid. If you start out with 2 grams of ephedrine, then a lot of times, if it's a good cook, he can get 2 grams of meth out of it. About $200.
It's a major problem, major drug issue in Jackson County, as it is through a good part of the whole country. Continues to be a problem. It is not quite as bad as it probably was at its worst stage 4, 5, 6 years ago. The situation has improved somewhat. We are not having as many arrests and charges, but it's still a significant issue and a significant problem, and it has been for a long time now. It is a national problem, and it's not just a Jackson County problem. It does tend to be more in the rural areas because for a number of reasons. It's easier for those who are cooking and making meth to do it in a rural area than it is in metropolitan areas. It's easier to detect by neighbors and things of that sort. So it tends to be more of a rural problem. There is a problem somewhat in metropolitan areas, but it's much more of a problem in rural areas, and we do have a problem here in Jackson County with it.
50-something accidents, probably 100 hospice, 100 cancer patients that die. And then we have a number of drug overdose, mainly crystal meth. We have a serious problem in Jackson County with crystal meth. It's just not the overdose, it's the fire fatalities where they're trying to cook off crystal meth. They have, that stuff is very, very explosive, and we have fire deaths due to that. A lot of times it will look like one kind of fire death, but once a good investigation is done, we realize it was crystal meth being trying to be cooked. We have a number of patients that actually die in hospitals in the burn centers like UAB that have been shipped from here that was burned due to crystal meth fires. When someone does crystal meth, they get very paranoid. If they see a policeman, they will eat it, just gobble it down, and then die 12 to 24 hours later. Once an autopsy is done, we actually find it in their stomach.
It's obviously from my perspective as district attorney, one of the main things we try and do is to enforce the law. Those that are either in possession of methamphetamine, and especially those who are producing, manufacturing methamphetamine, our law enforcement officers in the county are trying to find and arrest those, and they are, and have made numerous arrests over the several years now. They've made a lot of arrests on the methamphetamine problem. We're going to continue to enforce the law, but we're also trying to educate those who've never used methamphetamine, help them to understand it's not something you can fool with, it's not something you can play with. If you go there, it's going to have devastating effects on you and your family and the people around you. So just don't go there.
You run with a good crowd, then you're probably not ever going to want to try meth.
Right.
You know, if you work with a good group of people and have a good family, you're probably not ever going to want to try meth. But the majority of the people that I've dealt with in my career started smoking pot,
Right.
or started drinking. Those are the biggest two things, alcohol and marijuana. They started doing either one of those, and that led into cocaine, or that led into meth, or that led into heroin, or any other drug. You know, the crew they were out drinking with, somebody in that crew got hooked on meth, got to using meth, and they said, "Here, try this," and they tried that, and then it just went from there.
But once people start using meth, it's very, very, very difficult for them to get off the addiction or to kick the addiction of methamphetamine, because once they became addicts, they're going to do whatever they can to get their methamphetamine. So we put an emphasis on trying to let people know how dangerous it is, and with the hope that less and less people would ever try meth, and therefore we wouldn't have as many addicts.
Education is going to be a big factor in prevention, and even stopping the meth use. But it's going to take everybody. It's going to take public officials. It's going to take school. It's going to take churches. It's going to take everybody joining up together and doing their own part. You know, if they see something or smell something, you know, contact law enforcement so we can do our jobs and maybe stop it before it gets that far.
There is an absolute necessity, I think, to try and educate people, keep them from ever using methamphetamine. I think long term, that's our best hope of dealing with this problem.